You know what that switch in music means? It's time. Hey, Brandon.
What's happening, Christopher?
Hey, what's going on there with your nice little setup you got there? Man, it looks real clean, nice.
I got like a. Are you seeing this weird wavy thing? I don't know what my camera's
Yeah, what's
doing.
happening there? Shadow bands.
I don't know what that is. Let's try this. No,
That's-
that doesn't help. I might have to get a new camera here
Do
eventually.
you have something going on with your you have some kind of magnet set up?
I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been on here for a minute, so I don't know what changed.
Good Lord. Is your microphone on?
Yeah, can you hear it?
I can. Do you also have some kind of weird microphone from down on around your
God bless it. That should fix it. That fix it.
fix what?
The sound. Does it sound better now?
A little bit.
What are you doing, mouse? There we go.
Talk to me.
Because what happens is
Oh, I know what
I have an external monitor that also has speakers and a microphone in it.
Yeah.
So that use it and then it screws me up.
Yeah, that happens. And what's happening is I think you're in probably a little bit. Do you have wood floors?
No, I mean it's carpeted.
Carpeted. You're just in a big shiny bouncy room, so that's probably what it is. It sounds good. Everything's good. Your the waves, your shadow bands. For anybody that's watching and seeing Brandon, it's just part of the eclipse. Everything's well. We've got shadow bands going on, so it's he's got interactive wallpaper. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brandon Rudd. I about forgot what your name was there for a moment. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Dragon's Milk variant chocolate coffee edition.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I literally just watched an episode today where you were drinking like Dragon's Milk
Oatmeal cookie.
Oatmeal cookie. Ugh, God.
Yeah, this
Horrible.
one's chocolate coffee.
I hope that this was a surprise for Kate. I don't know. Was it? Kate, did you know he was coming on?
You weren't looking at the screen. She was dancing down there while you were getting ready while the intro was starting. Yeah,
right. When did you come on?
Like as soon as you started the intro music.
Okay. Because
I got into the duck so she could see me down there.
Yeah. That's what I meant. So because you weren't right in here. We didn't get here right at 9. So, good. We've had all this friendly banter that should have probably happened before the show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. We are here. This is obviously Brandon's with us, and we are happy to have him live from the South studio. I used to be the Southern studio, but now you like leapfrogged me.
Yeah, you're in the great north now.
I am in the great north. I'll always be able to tell you when it's much colder up here than it is down where you live. And
did Portland get like a good storm a little while back, like a couple days ago?
It did. Tuesday, because that's why we weren't live. That's why we weren't live Tuesday night, because Portland got a pretty good storm. They were actually talking about whether or not they were people were debating on whether or not there was actually a tornado in Portland, or if it was just straight line winds, or yada yada yada. Of course, it was not nearly as bad as what happened in Winchester, Selma and Winchester, but I think that they ended up ruling that there was no tornado, but there was some pretty severe wind damage and some stormy storms. Of course, I'm nowhere near Portland. I'm closer to Portland than Brandon is now. And so
my old house might have blown down here now. I don't know. Be gone.
It might have. So yeah, it stormed up that way. We got a little bit of the tail end of it. It knocked the power out, and then when the power came back on, the internet was being a little funky. So we were not able to do what we needed to do. I don't know if you have watched or not, but since you've been on, we've added a little segment to the first part of the show here where we always look up and talk about a few quotes that the wonderful audience, normally about 2 or 3 of them, put. So let's see here. Joe Tompkins, amazingly, Joe Tompkins always gets right in there at the first. Leadership consists of nothing but taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong and giving your subordinates credit for everything that goes well. Dwight Eisenhower,
which no politician does anymore.
Yeah, right. I think he might have been the last. I think Dwight Eisenhower might have been the last politician to follow that advice. So that's a good quote there. Nicole Johnson in with a society should be judged not by how it treats its outstanding citizens, but how it treats its criminals. And that's a fine quote there. And so does that mean
he's desperately trying not to have to say that last name?
No. Oh no, I've got no problem.
No problem.
Yep, crashed. I could say it until you said it.
So Dostoevsky? Is that how you say it?
Oh man, Dostep. Say it again. Say it.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Say it again, Brandon.
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
You gotta get that nasally thing going for the Russian.
You gotta your head's gotta drop like that. Yeah. She did it great. No, I was just going. What I was going to say was, so that means a society should be judged not by how it treats its outstanding citizens. So that means we should be judged as pretty wonderful people because we treat our criminals like they're wonderful. It's fantastic. You know, they are just speaking of criminals. Speaking of criminals, Brandon.
I haven't done anything that I've been caught on lately.
I need to talk. I do need to talk to you two. Remind me tonight when we go dark. I need to remind you. If I forget, there is something that I need to talk to you guys about that I will eventually be talking to the rest of you about, but I cannot talk to the rest of you about just yet. So just remind me of that. And then Julie is in with, if you want to lift yourself up, lift someone else up. And that is, man, Booker T. Washington. Okay, man, I struggled on that one too. All right, yes, there was all three of you guys had some great quotes. Thank you all for the quotes. And yeah. So this is the 183rd episode. It is the makeup for the makeup. We were off Tuesday, as Brandon just said. There was a storm and it knocked some power out, and it was blah 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 blah. So we were off on Tuesday, I believe. And because of that, I said Thursday night that we had a big long show Thursday night. We had a lot of information. We got through. A lot of you have been sharing that around. I thank you for sharing that around. Thank you guys all for being here for that. But I said that we would be live Friday night to make up for Tuesday night's show. And then last night, as you can tell, I'm a little nasally, a little more so than normal. And I had some sinus issues going on. And oh, that's it.
Camera doesn't like the light. That's what it is.
Ding, 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 ding. And you look good like that. That looks good. You don't look so yellow. Yellow. You look yellow, Brandon. Oh my God. Oh, good Lord.
Is that yellowed up for you?
Yeah, right. I love it. That's good. Yeah, we were going to do a live show last night, but I laid down at like 7:30 and set my alarm to wake up in time for the show. Had a sinus headache, and I got woke up at like 9:30. My phone had died, and I was like, nope, no show tonight. My head hurt so bad. So I slept and thought we'd come on tonight. So we're here tonight. Thank you for everyone that is here tonight. Please, please, please do us a favor. If you're here on YouTube, do the YouTube things. Smash that like button. Although this has been probably like 12 minutes of nonsense. So it will get much better from here, I promise. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. We are like 100 some away. No, 120, 160 some away, something like that, from 1,000. So we want to try to hit that. We want to try to hit that 1,000 number. And I thank you all for your watch times. You guys have really been putting in the work and sharing the show and getting the word out. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. If you're watching live, please continue to comment right over there. Not there, but next to Brandon, over there in the live comment section. And if you're watching at your own time and your own speed, in your own underwear, in your own house, comment down there below and share the show with everyone you know. So this is the 183rd episode. Brandon's here. The episode, I changed it from I to we. Should we be upset?
Oh.
Should we be upset? Troy's in from Talladega. How's it going? How's it going down there, Troy?
It's probably warmer than Indiana. What the hell? It's like almost May.
No, man.
And it's cold as hell. I went to take the dog for a walk and I put on my winter coat. I was like, oh, nope. I turned right back around.
Yeah, right. Jackie Fisher says high probability. Our meteorologist for the show is in to say high probability of frost tonight and early Sunday a.m. How disgusting is that?
It's pretty gross.
Oh, man. That is ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, I don't get it. Indiana's crazy.
Yeah.
It was getting warm as hell like 3 days ago, too. It was what, like in the 80s?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it tickled 80 a couple times. But, you know, definitely better off than where we are up here in the north.
That's true.
Having moved to the south down there. So
the palm trees and
we right. So we have a couple of interesting things to talk about. I think the last time you were here, we were talking about some interesting things that you had discovered in state government and some issues you had. You'd been looking for some been looking for some emails, record requests, and so on and so forth. And so
that was my rant about how basically the Indiana General Assembly made their own rules that they don't have to follow any kind of public access request. They can call any of their emails work product, and they just don't turn over any emails.
Yeah,
they're not transparent whatsoever.
Yeah, well, and that is exactly accurate. It's gross. I mean, they've made a law and put in place a law basically that says, you know, the mayor has to, councils have to, The commissioner has to. Now, I'll tell you, it was another mindset of elected officials. I think these people currently in charge would change that as soon as possible. Matter of fact, I think that they're probably leaning on doing that. If we don't get some control of these people, they could very well be working on doing that any year. That could be something else that they would be trying to do. So that's something else that's scary. But yeah, they are not. They've not been doing a good thing. They've not been being good employees for us, the employers, and it's gross. But yeah, what else has been going on there? What have you found out since last time we've talked?
Well, I found out that politicians aren't people.
Never.
Well, I guess to start off, I guess we can kind of talk about what kind of prompted me to come on tonight and what kind of prompted the whole thing. Do you want to start with that?
Sure.
If we can pull that, I
I've got
don't know.
his-
Maybe you can pull it up while I talk about it. Maybe.
Yeah, I've got it right here.
So, in District 33, which I'm not in anymore, I guess, thank goodness, there's a gentleman running against JD Prescott in the Republican primary named Gregory LeMaster.
Well, you will be leaving. You'll basically be leaving District 33 like around May 8th, right?
Yeah. I mean, I still reside there.
Yeah. It's still legal. All's well.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, come get me. Come get some. We'll see what happens. Anyways, so this gentleman's running against JD Prescott, and I've been trying to follow his campaign. We've been trying to. We're kind of torn. We weren't sure. My first instinct when he started running was like, oh gosh, is this guy like doing it to run to like help JD? In that last primary election, JD came pretty close to getting beat, even with spending a crap ton of money and campaigning the hardest he's ever had to campaign. He still almost lost. So the thought was, is this guy running to kind of try to pull some of the anti-JD vote? He since has shown that he's kind of stepped up against the Republican Party a little bit, which was interesting. And I know you shared the video where the Jay County Republican Party chair had that event and yanked that microphone out of his hand and basically yelled at him and demeaned him in front of the voters because she didn't like him talking as much as he was talking.
Very weird.
Which was really weird. So if you guys haven't seen that video, that's a weird video.
It is very strange. It's on our channel. You can definitely see it.
Yeah. So this is that same guy. This is the guy who got the microphone ripped out of his hand. And I think we're trying to maybe get him on the show and talk to him a little bit. There's been some back and forth. But anyways, I checked his site today and he had this new post up there. He since kind of fixed it since this morning. He changed it a little bit, or since yesterday. So let me see if I can see that. Let me maximize my screen.
It's kind of hard to see.
Okay.
Do you want me to read what it says?
I can read it unless you want to.
Okay. Yeah, you can read it. That's fine.
So he posted, should I be upset? Thus the name of the episode, should we be upset? Should I be upset that the state Republican committee spent over $20,000 for my opponent in a primary? I'm a lifetime Republican who is or was won a few dozen votes from Jay County prosecutor a few years ago. 2, former young Republican leader, vice chair, attender of Congress of counties, conventions, and precinct committeemen. 3, nephew of a former Republican chairman and county recorder. 4, grandson of John L. LeMaster and Helen LeMaster, both county office holders. 5, son of Terry LeMaster, was nearly lifelong precinct committeeman and later became county assessor. First of all, he should have chosen to be son of Prescott, and then maybe he could have done that.
Yes, right.
6, close friend of Right to Life organizers. 7, a member of the Federalist Society. 8, etc., and so on. If you're in a Republican primary anywhere or a Republican donor, you should be upset. I am. So his question is, should you be upset? And then he's got a clip here. He added this later. This is paid for by the Indiana Republican State Committee. Authorized by JD douchebag for state representative, blah blah blah.
And you can't. I was going to click on it, but it doesn't. It doesn't actually open up.
No, it takes you to his law website.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, you commented like, "Yeah, I'm surprised that's all they spent." And he's like, "Yeah, there's already been 6 mailings." And
6 mailings for JD Prescott in this. And look, I'm not knocking Greg, and I hope to have him on, but he's ran a pretty, at least from my perspective down here in Delaware County, he's ran a pretty quiet campaign, and JD's still put out 6 mailings.
Yeah, which is interesting. I got my survey the other day too. I can tell that story real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's been some more comments.
Yeah.
So I got one of those survey calls the other day, and it was one from an actual person, usually like an automated text or whatever.
Yeah.
Some woman who called and she said, "Yeah, I just have a quick question. This isn't a sales call or anything like that." Okay, go ahead. She's like, "This is a survey." She said, "If the May 7th primary were held today, would you vote for Greg LeMaster or JD Prescott?" To which I responded, "JD Prescott is a garbage human being. I would vote for Greg LeMaster or nobody. You couldn't pay me to vote for JD Prescott." She said, "All right, thank you. Have a great day." I said, "Yeah, you
like,
do
are
the
you
same."
going to use that?
Huh?
Like, I would have been like, click, hello. Are you going to use that?
Could you please
use that?
Get that information back to him. Put that on a mailer. Put my quote on a mailer.
Yes.
Which is interesting, and I think I'll go ahead and advise people, if you get a call like that, and JD Prescott's in particular, where they ask who you're going to vote for, what you want to do is say that you're going to vote for JD Prescott for 2 reasons, 2 very specific reasons. If you're not going to vote for JD Prescott, say that you're going to vote for JD Prescott, because reason number 1, it'll screw up his data. And I talked to Christopher about this the other day. I think what they're doing is they're getting this polling done to determine which candidates are in the most trouble and who they need to give the most money to.
Yeah.
So say you're going to vote for JD because 1, it screws up his data. 2, it screws up his funding. They're going to send less mailers to your house. He's going to get less money and less support. So say you're going to vote for JD Prescott because screw him, he needs to lose because he's a piece of crap. Second reason is, and he did this last primary, is if you say that you're going to vote for JD Prescott, they will give you a text message to remind you to vote on election day. If you say no, they don't give a crap. They don't want you to vote. They're going to try
don't want you to vote. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want you to. So they're definitely never going to bring it up again and not remind you to go vote. Yeah. So 1, it screws up his data and his funding source. 2, you get a free reminder. Well, not free. It's costing his campaign money to send you a reminder to vote on election day. So if you don't support JD Prescott, when they call to ask or send you that text, say yes, you're supporting JD Prescott. It will also get them to stop sending those texts and calling you over and over again because they're trying to see if they can change your mind.
Yeah, change people's minds.
So just say yes, they'll stop calling you, they'll send you a reminder to vote, and they'll cut JD's funding to his campaign.
It'll screw his shit up. And Rush Limbaugh is up there clapping or down there clapping, wherever he's at, clapping, and that's that is a little bit of Operation Chaos there. I like it because it definitely does. And yes, Janet, you're right. The Delaware County Tea Party, I'm pretty sure, does support JD Prescott. And the reason they do is because of the problem that we have. Now, what I love about you is you fall in those circles, some of those same circles, like with the Tea Party and the other group that Brand is a part of and all of that. And you fall in those circles. Now, I don't mean any disrespect by this. From the outset, just meeting you or seeing you in person, if I would have just saw you, you seem like a person that would be in that mindset. And I love that you're not. I love that you are a free thinker and that you go above and beyond just what the social group says, and that you're listening to shows like this and you're listening to other shows, and I see you out there moving and shaking and what you're like listening to and what you're doing. And I think it's wonderful, and I wish other people would do the same thing, because the problem is there are, and I don't mean this as any disrespect, but there are people that are probably in your friend circle that are great people. They're good people. They're Republicans. They're conservatives. They love America. They love Indiana. They love East Central Indiana. They love Delaware County or wherever they are. And they just want to be good people, and they hear word of mouth from another good friend. They see Scott Alexander. He's smiling. He looks like a good guy. He's wonderful. He's friends with JD Prescott. They come together and they say, look, this guy he's a good guy. And everyone believes that. And what it is it's part of the whole JD. It's part of I was reading what Kay said. It's part of the whole toxic positivity mindset that anybody that dares to question JD Prescott, anyone that would say, well, wait a minute, before I just take the word of someone saying, hey, this is a good guy, let me ask this guy questions. Let me ask JD questions. JD, do you support the military veterans? JD's going to say, yeah, I do. I love veterans. But if you look at JD's record, he does not support veterans.
Well, he just sent out a mailer again that says he's 100% pro-life. He does not understand math whatsoever. This dude has voted against multiple pro-life bills and still has the nerve to lie, send out lying propaganda to people's houses saying he's 100% pro-life. He can say he's mostly pro-life. He can go out there and tout the pro-life bills that he supported.
Yeah.
He's not 100%.
Yeah.
He's lying to people, and people are eating it up.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And so,
Sorry.
Janet. No, you're fine. Janet, I was trying to think who I was talking to up there. Janet, I love that you do your own research, because what we need to do is we need to get people. There was a candidate that ran against JD in 2022, and she was a fantastic candidate, and they spent so much money trying. I mean, they spent what, 8 times the amount of money. What was it?
It was like 20 times.
20 times the amount of money to knock her out, because she was getting traction and she was making waves and she was making JD scared, and she would have been a representative who would have come back to Delaware County and listened to the constituents. She would have heard the constituents. She would have talked to the constituents. She would have answered the phone call. She would have answered emails.
She would have been honest.
She would have been honest about things. Where JD is a yes man for Todd Huston. He's a yes man for all of that nonsense. I'm gonna tell you exactly. JD Prescott is the exact state representative that John Schrock talks about, the people that we need to knock out of there, the people that we need to ask him, shake him, what the hell are you doing? You are not the person that we want in there, because you're doing things for your buddies, for yourself, for your family, and you are not working for the constituents. And the problem is, when we tell the members of the Tea Party that, they're like, are you're being crazy. How dare you speak it? And it's like, no, listen, pull yourself out of your echo chamber, pull yourself out of the confirmation bias circle that you're in, and listen for a second. Just look up his record. Look what he's done. And they won't. They just won't do it. I don't know how to get him to do it.
Well, what's weird to me is we went to that Tea Party event.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he got put in his place by Ashley Grogg from Hoosiers for Medical Liberty on how anti-medical liberty he is, which surprised me that the Tea Party weren't upset.
Yes.
And then we kind of called him out on his BS, and somebody in there, I can't remember who it was like, oh, these fellas surely wouldn't do these silly things. It's like, no, JD's been doing those things.
Yeah.
Like, don't give him credit for things he's not doing, or give him a pass on things that he is doing.
Well, and what the bullshit was there was he came to that Tea Party event. He wanted to set it up to where he spoke and then left, and Ashley Grogg's like, no, I want to talk. Then while she tried talking and was giving it to JD, he tried to rudely interrupt her time, and she's like, no, you've had your time. I'm going to speak now. And she wanted to speak. And then before the citizens could really ask questions, do anything, and he was like, hey, you've got me for 58 minutes and no longer, and I'm out of here. And he tore off out of there and didn't listen. He wasn't around to, for people to talk to afterwards. JD does the bare minimum.
Every public event, though. Every one of them.
Yeah, right. He blows out of there as fast as he can. He will not answer questions. He used to put his phone number out there. I'm willing to answer phone calls. I'm willing to talk. But because I dare to call him 3 times, he's like, okay. And Brandon tries to call him. Other people try to call him. He's like, all right, you need to email my assistant now. That's the only way that you can try to get a hold of JD, and you're not going to get a hold of him that way. And I'll be perfectly honest. I'll tell you on my end, and then Brandon can tell you if he so chooses to tell you what. Here's the problem. I wish to God. I wish. I was praying about this, that I was hoping that the candidate that ran in 2022 would have been able to run against him this time. I strongly believe she would have been able to beat him. But unfortunately, because of life circumstances, that was not able to happen. And she could not run against him because of things that came up. And I will talk to you about that afterwards privately, Janet. I'll send you a message and let you know what's up. But as far as it goes, when Greg decided to run against him, like Brandon said earlier, we didn't know. I'll be honest, I kind of thought he was a paper-only candidate. I thought he was there because they didn't know if she was going to run or not until the filing deadline ended. Mm-hmm. And I kind of thought that he was running to maybe pull votes away from her if she did. But now I'm starting to believe that that's not the case. I feel very... Okay, here's Greg. Here Greg is right here. Greg is on here right now. So I feel now, I'm from things that I've saw, that he is actually running a race, and he's running against him, and he means everything that he is saying. And so I hopefully will be able to get him on here sometime next week and have him talk. I fully support Greg because it's time for JD to run out of there. I'll tell you. In 2018, Sean Byram was running for state representative. He was a Democrat mayor of Winchester, and he did a horrible job as mayor in Winchester. That was back when I lived in Winchester at the time, and he did a horrible job. He used that mayor spot as a stepping stone to the state representative seat, and I said we need to do whatever we can do to make sure he does not become state representative. I worked on JD's first campaign. I worked in 2018 to get JD elected. And about halfway through that campaign, I told him that there would come a point where we would be on opposite sides. And it was a big joke. Ha, 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 ha. Okay. And he told me that he would always be open to me. He would always be a phone call away. I could call him anytime I wanted. He would come on the show, and I've interviewed him several times before he became Todd Huston's pocket holder. And now after that, now that he's got that pocket real tight, I don't get to talk to him anymore. And so I think that JD is gross.
Come on, he quit talking to you right after he got elected, within about a month or two of the election.
That's no. Listen. We didn't interview, but I still spoke to him. When we fell out is when he put out his first survey, and he put out the question: should we get rid of elections for sheriff and coroner and things like that? Should we allow the commissioners to do that? And I called him and said, "What kind of a dumbass question is that?" And that is
so
when
we were maybe 3 or 4 months in.
Yeah, I don't know how long. I forget how long it takes for them to send that in. How long?
Well, it's during the first session that they start sending out the surveys.
Maybe a month in.
Yeah.
Maybe a month. That might be right. That might be right.
It was not very long before he was like, "Yep," gave you the middle finger and quit talking to you.
We had we would still see each other in places and like wave and stuff. But then once Brandon and I hooked up, and that was
hot.
Yeah, it was. You'll have to see the video. I don't know if we got that up. I think that's on OnlyFans. The thing is, when the reason we got together, for those of you that don't know, is Brandon tried to ask him a question and JD dodged him, and JD had to sue him, or Brandon had to sue JD.
Mm-hmm. Just ask a question.
Yeah, to ask a question.
So now that I see Greg's on here, Greg, you'll want to hang out for a little bit in this episode because we're gonna kind of unpack your question from earlier today and talk a little bit more about those mailers. But to answer Janet's question, I don't know if Janet or Greg, you might be interested now that I don't know when you guys jumped in, but I wasn't kidding when I talked about I got that phone survey and they said who I would vote for, and I said Greg LeMaster or nobody. So I had another survey. It wasn't on that question, but they said, "Hey, who's your first choice for this office?" And I said, "This person." And then they said, "Well, what if that person drops out?" And it's like, "Well, then I guess I'm not voting for that position." So if JD was for some reason the only person on the ballot, I wouldn't vote for him. I'll tell you that. I'd vote for a tree stump first. Probably be about as effective and more conservative. So
Absolutely.
That's my opinion. But yeah, you couldn't pay me to vote for that dude. His dishonesty and lack of integrity, I could never support him. I'm out. And Greg, I'm sure you're great, but we need to talk to you.
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait to have him come on. I think that'll be a fantastic thing. And I think, if you have a chance to listen to the rest of this and listen to what Brandon's got to say, you started to hit on some pretty important questions today, and yesterday with your post.
Yeah, and this is something we've been working on. And the fact that you kind of brought it up, I was like, Christopher, we do need to talk about that. So if you're doing a special Saturday episode, Saturday works for me. We'll get her done. So that's kind of what prompted this topic.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. So, well, shoot. Do we want to get into it?
Might as well.
All right. So, Greg's question was: Should we be upset that the Republican Party essentially is spending this much money in a primary election to take out someone who's an actual conservative? Yes, 100%. Everybody should be upset. I don't know why more people aren't upset. I don't think people know what's going on. So we're going to talk about it tonight. So Christopher also mentioned that last time I was on here, I was kind of going on a rant about trying to get public access requests. And there's a very specific thing I was trying to get. So they will still try to hold out on us for like emails and things like that. They'll say it's work product. But when it comes to specific expenditures with taxpayer dollars, there's not really good justification for kicking us out, keeping us out of that. But they did drag their feet and getting those to me. So I'm trying to think of how to lay this out. So last election, as many of you know, JD Prescott sent out a crap ton of mailers like that in the primary, a ton of them against his Republican opponent, who is more conservative, more honest, listens to people, held public events, answered calls, blocked not a single person on Facebook, despite the fact that a lot of people that are commenting on there were JD trolls who were just trying to stir the pot and didn't really have what's a legitimate question, but we're really just kind of trying to cause trouble for this person's campaign. This person was a much better candidate. I wish they could have won as well, or run as well. Well, run as well.
Yeah.
They might have won. Who knows? But whatever. But we noted that in the last campaign, JD Prescott had sent out a ton of mailers. I know for his challengers campaign, they were going to send out mailers, but to send out one mailer to a very small number of voters, like maybe let's say half of Jay County, would have cost like $7,000 or something like that for like a half sheet mailer. JD was sending out like full on 8.5 by 11, like full sheet mailers full of like propaganda and bullshit. And the Republican Party had given him like, Kate probably knows the number. I'm gonna screw up the number, but I don't say $70,000 or $80,000. Is that right, Kate?
The HRC, I just looked it up today. The HRCC in 2022, the HRCC specifically in cash gave JD in that 2022 election $35,293.05 is what they gave him. That's just in cash. Now, as far as in kind, I don't know what they gave in.
It was close to $100,000 between the cash and in kind. It was like $98,000. Does that sound right, Brandon?
Yeah,
I think so.
It was close to $100,000.
It might have been another like $35,000 or $40,000 in kind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because let's see if I can turn on this other monitor, because this is gonna be really difficult with one monitor. We'll see if it messes up my microphone or not. So I pull up I've got his filing documentation that Kate sent us last year. Let's go ahead and just look at that real quick. Here's the one. And then let's add to stage. Okay. I hope you guys can see this. If not, I can zoom a little bit. Let's see what I can do here. Oh, that looks nice. We can see that.
Yeah, it does.
So here's JD's filing for his receipts and expenditures. This was filed in April 15th, I'm going to say. Oh, April 13th.
April 13th.
Of 2022 at 12:36 p.m. while he was eating lunch. So
pause. Question. Answer that question, Stumblefoot. JD's largest donor was the House Republican caucus. So Todd Huston and the House Republicans were JD's biggest.
Well, I guess that's our other big reveal, right?
Oh, did I bust that out?
No, that's fine.
Oh, because he just asked that. You go ahead. He just asked that. Go ahead.
So I don't know if we've shown these before, but basically it shows you who all gave them money. This is all public documentation. So I guess if you guys don't want your information out there, I guess you shouldn't be donating to JD's campaign. So you can see everyone who donated to him. There's a bunch of people that donated $50, $100, something like that, $250. John Prescott gave him $1,000. Of course, his family is giving him a bunch of money. Let's see, a lot of big donors. Here's a HRCC $250 photo shoot they paid for. Isn't that nice?
$250 for that headshot. Ooh.
It broke the camera, dude. They didn't buy a new camera. HRCC, here's their first. That's the thing. They gave him multiple donations. So this one's $10,000 on 3/28. Let's see. Let's keep going.
So that's two from them. $250 and then $10,000. So there's $10,250.
Yep. Here's another photo shoot, apparently for $250. That's probably one. Remember, he did that stupid posing with the gun, where he looks like a little sissy holding that gun.
Yep. Yep.
Looks like an idiot. That was a funny
Yep.
photo. You know, you can see here's where he spent money. He won't spend his own money on like supporting the farmers and stuff like that. He'll just use campaign donated money. Lincoln Day dinner tickets, he won't pay for those out of his own money. Let's keep scrolling. There's something that I had that was interesting. Okay, here we go. Now here's one that jumped out at me. So remember we were talking about JD sent, I don't know the exact number, but it was close to a dozen. It was double digits, right? Of campaign mailers.
Yeah.
Well,
we were talking about this the other day. We both think it was closer to a dozen, but like we said, like, you know, for simple math, like, was it 10? I mean, he at least sent out 10 mailers in the 3 months of campaigning. It was every week for a while.
It was nuts. It was a couple of weeks.
Yeah, sometimes it was 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. So here we go. We've got Midwest Communications Group, LLC, for advertising purpose signs, palm cards, and mailers. $14,141.08. Now, these mailers went out, I believe, to probably every Republican, voting Republican in the state, well, in the district, right? So something else people might not understand is when you want to do mailers and things like that, you can look up the date. You can get the data that says, all right, these people are registered Republicans. Here's their mailing address. Here's their information. Here's the Democrat voters, their mailing address, their information. You can see if they're a good voter, meaning they voted in so many primaries, et cetera, right? The problem is, one, that data generally costs money. So it's an access request. So you can buy it from the clerk's office or whatever, like any other public document. The problem is in places like Delaware County in particular, Delaware County is probably the most crooked one I know of. They're operating on some rule from a election board meeting from like 30 years ago where I don't even think they officially ruled on the issue, but they were trying to determine, just to simplify it, basically, if you try to get those in Delaware County, they will not give them to you unless the party chair says you can have them. So if you're in Delaware County and you're a Republican, you want to run for office and you want that data, the Republican Party will tell you no. They can tell you no. Like if you're Ryan Webb, I'm sure if he went and asked Ed Carroll for the data, Ed Carroll's going to tell him to go F himself, and he can't have access to taxpayer paid for public records, which do not belong to the party. They were collected by and are held by the government, paid for by taxpayer dollars. But in Delaware County, you have to get an unelected official's permission for access to public documents. That alone should piss everybody off.
Yeah, right.
Just I know in of itself. I know in 2022, in Delaware County, they refused JD's opponent that data. He was not allowed that data. Not only that, but JD was given that data for free by all of the party chairs. So he didn't have to pay for it. It was like a donation in kind. Here, have the data, have at it. So that's how he's able to mail all those without paying for that data. There are other ways to get that data. You can pay companies to do it, but it's very costly to do that. Like they'll charge you
a couple things real quick on that, just to make sure people are aware. Number one, basically, and the same thing happens in Madison County. Like Russ Willis is not giving Catherine the walking. It's called the walking list. Basically, they use it to walk. It's held like that, and it's pushed out by the precinct committee people, and then it goes to the party level, and the chairman doles that out to who he or she wants to have it. The Democrats have it, the Republicans have it. And they're not doing that. They don't do that in Henry County. They sure as hell don't do it in Randolph County. I would assume the same thing happens in Jay County. I don't really know, but
I think Jay County will let you have it.
Jay County does let you have it. That's really, really amazing then. Okay. That's cool.
So
Okay.
There's other ways to get. There's like companies that are like
Well,
that'll sell to you, or you can go to the state. But if you go to the state will just drop you a huge chunk of
file.
data, and you
Yeah.
have to sort it yourself.
You've
But
got to
they'll-
sort it yourself. The thing is, you can buy it through those companies, but it's not going to be as efficient or as streamlined as what these other things are from the state, which you should have access to. Because what's important for everybody to know here is the parties, the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, they say per their party rules, they are not getting involved in the primaries. When you've got two Republicans running against each other, their rules are they're not supposed to pick a favorite. They're not supposed to play games. So if you've got the quote unquote party favorite, I mean, we call them that for a reason, but they're not supposed to be a party favorite. But if you've got the party favorite running and you've got some, Joe Blow Republican wanting to run, the party's supposed to give them both equally, but they don't. They
Right.
will give to JD over his opponent or anyone else, Brand, and on up or down the list, the same thing. They pick their winners, they pick their favorites, and that's something that people need to know that does happen.
And I'm sure Greg's seeing that right now. I know that his opponent last time was told that they would be fair, but then they gave JD the data, not to his opponent. So they're not fair. And the data is important because District 33 in particular is land mass wise pretty large. So that data is valuable because if it's a walking list and you're running a Republican primary, there's really no reason to go knock on someone who's voting in the Democrat primary election, who's voted a Democrat primary for the last 40 years. They don't want to hear from you. They're going to tell you to go flip sand.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm not sure So it's difficult to get. There's ways to get it. It's definitely easier for the party favorites, though. I guess it's the bottom line. Like the party is just going to hand it to them on a silver platter. If they don't want you to have it, you're going to have to fight for it or pay for it, or it's more difficult to get. So that being said, JD's got on here $14,148.08. He sent out probably a dozen mailers. This is for signs, palm cards, and mailers for $14,000. Let me explain to you guys. We looked at, because I worked on that campaign. I'll just say I worked on his opponent's campaign. I tried to get a quote to see what it would cost to send out a half-size sheet to like half of the voters in one county. It was like $7,000. Because
$7,000 for one?
For one. Because you got to think you've got postage, you've got printing costs, you've got like all the sorting and all that stuff. I mean, postage alone for look at postage alone for, let's say, 10,000 mailers, right?
Yeah.
So to me, something doesn't look right here with this price. $14,141. So he's paying, let's say, approximately, let's even round it up, $1,500 for a mailer to every Republican in the district. That's nothing. Like he's paying that's not even paying for postage.
Yeah.
So Greg LeMaster kind of hit on that on his campaign. He said something about apparently they get a postage deal or something. Well, Greg, kind of. So, and Christopher, you've got the other picture. We talked about it right before the episode. So JD's opponent last election sent out.
Are you wanting me to put that up?
Shoot. Let's yeah, sure, why not?
I mean, when you just tell me when you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead and put it up. So his opponent sent out an email to this company, Midwest Communications Group, and said, "Hey, you guys apparently do great deals on mailers, and you do good work on mailers. I would like for you to send out a mailer for me." And they said, "Cool, sounds good. What are you running for? What district? Where are you running?" And this person said, "I'm running against JD Prescott." To which they replied, and Christopher's got that reply if he pulls that up.
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
And I'm pretty sure, I know that person said I can share it now. They don't particularly care, but And we've got it censored anyway, but
Oh yeah, it's censored.
but we know who it is because I just said. But anyways. Cost of
Give me
postage.
1 second here. What?
Oh, I'm just reading out loud. I'm reading what Karen's saying here.
Right. Let me get it. Download. Okay.
So basically, like I was saying, this person sent out an email. They say, hey, I would like to do this. Said, where are you running? Said, I'm running for District 33 representative against JD Prescott. And they got this response. Thank you for the email. We work for the Indiana House Caucus and are conflicted out of any work against incumbents in those races. Thanks. Kyle from Midwest Communications Group, LLC. And I'm thinking to myself, what business does that? I used to work for a print company for God, I'm so Indiana, for 2 years. And there's no such thing as, well, you only print for certain candidates. It's like you're a business. If someone pays the money, you run the ad.
Yeah, you're a for-profit business. It's just like there are local sign companies here and pull back up your campaign thing that you had up there if you can. His donation thing real quick. Just real quick so you understand. When that campaign expenditure with the finance form is saying that JD Prescott got signs, palm cards, and mailers for $14,000. All right. Those signs, now maybe it was he only got 50 signs, or he got like 10 big signs. Those signs are expensive. The signs are expensive. The wires are expensive. The stakes that they use are expensive.
The cheapest I've seen them is like $50-$60 for a large sign.
Yeah, yeah. For one large sign, $40-$50 for one large sign. So imagine if you got 10 of them. Okay, when you're running a race for state representative, when you're the incumbent, and he's putting signs out in all,
every
District 33. Yeah, District 33 is Jay County, Randolph County, Blackford County, Delaware County, Henry County. That is a large ass amount of land. And when you're talking about putting campaign signs up there, you're talking about a massive amount of signs. That's several thousands of dollars just in signs.
Those palm cards he's handing out at every event he goes to, big stacks of those cards.
Yeah, just throwing them out on the cards. Okay, and so it's very important. Greg says newspaper is the best I can do on print. $745 for Hartford, Dunkirk, Portland, Winchester once a week. Okay, so 100 signs is $500 delivered. All right, so and that's the small signs, right? That's your small signs. So keep in mind that like that says for everything right there. So, but the local companies that do them, they will do, you can walk in there and you can be James King and you can say, hey, I want 1,000 signs. Brand can walk in. They can walk in together. You can be a Republican. You can be a Democrat, and they will do everybody's sign, because even though they're this way or that way, they are a for-profit business. So the fact that we have a for-profit business that sends this out to JD's opponent in 2022, thank you for the email. We work for the Indiana House Caucus. That means they're working for the political action committee, the PAC. They're working for a political PAC, and they therefore are conflicted. Why are you conflicted out of any work against those incumbents? That's ridiculous. That is absolutely nuts. This right here, it should make people's heads explode.
Yep. So that starts kind of making me ask the question. I'm saying, how do they work for the Indiana House Caucus, and how can they do it for so cheap? It's like they're saying, it's like they're not wanting to make money, right? Not only are you doing these mailers for the Indiana House Caucus for next to nothing, but you're not doing work for any other candidates who you could charge a reasonable rate. So that jumped out at me. Hence why I started digging and doing some public access requests. So I started saying, hold up, wait a minute. That ain't right. So I put in a request. I said, hey, I keep getting all these mailers throughout the year. I get these quarterly mailers. I get these surveys. Who prints those? Who could possibly be printing those mailers? So I put in a request and I said, I would like information on all the surveys and postcards and what they cost, because I'd like to see what we're paying for those.
And now, real quick, those surveys that you're talking about and those mailers that you're talking about, these are not election material. These are materials that the elected officials, that the legislature is putting out to do the business of the state,
which are paid for with taxpayer dollars.
Which is paid for by taxpayer dollars. So this, what he's talking about now, is not campaign material. It's, hey, these are the surveys for these items. We would like you guys to, they have us do, and then they never do anything with it anyways. We talk about that on here all the time every year. It's a bunch of nonsense. But then the posts, the mailers that say, the legislative session's agenda is this. This is what we got done. This is how great we are. Those things that they send out every so often to tell you how great they're doing, that is paid for by taxpayer dollars, but those have to be printed somewhere too, and that's what he's talking about.
Yep. So I said, I want to know how much we're spending on those. I want any information you've got on those. They were very resistant to giving them to me. Not resistant. It took way longer than you would think it should. And they're very particular on, you need a certain time period. I'm like, well, I don't know how many times you guys are billed for those a year, but I know we get them at least 4 times a year, plus the survey. And they're all a bunch of bullshit propaganda. We shouldn't be paying for them anyway, because they're a waste of money. So I finally get those, and I get a little aha moment. So God bless it. It's fun to try to work this stuff out. So I'll share with you what they sent me. Well, hot dog, doesn't this company sound familiar that this came from? Midwest Communications Group, LLC. This very same company that does all their campaign materials and did the campaign materials for JD Prescott. All those ads for next to no cost. Well, look at this, $307,000 to do these Indiana House Republican survey newsletters. Well, that's a lot of freaking money.
Wow.
So they have them itemized on here. We have what they're charging. You can look, I kind of like this because you can look by last name of representative on how much they spent on it. So here's for JD Prescott. Just one of them cost the taxpayers $21,445.
Can you go blow that up just a little bit up at the top?
Is this what you want?
Yep.
So here's JD Prescott. 21,445. I believe that's print quantity. Sorry. Apologies. Sends out 21,405. Where the hell is he now? 445 of those. What's my 250 on here? And here we are at 8,800. What is this? $10,000. Let me pull these out. 260. So at the end of the day, for one mailer for the state, this is for the state, we're paying this company $300,000 for just the surveys.
Whoa. I'm just learning that. Wait a minute. For one round for the surveys, we're paying $307,000?
Yeah, this doesn't count the other four or five, however many other mailers they do.
Holy shit.
Yes. So we're probably, My understanding, someone told me the number that if you count all the mailers and stuff, all the things that they send out, that we're looking at, and this is just for the Republican Party, by the way. The Democrats use their own company.
Like one of these things, folks, we're talking about. It looks like a campaign mailer, but it tells you your survey is due in by such and such, and you can scan the little QR code, or you can do it online. That's what they send you out. This is what we're talking about.
Well, and keep going, because they don't just do printing.
Correct. Oh, they also process the data when it comes back. Is that what you mean, Kate?
Mm-hmm.
So they charge for all that stuff. So my understanding is on mailings alone, and that was just one. Here's another one. Here's the here's a postcard that's $261,000. Let's keep scrolling. This one's a cheaper one. I don't know. Oh, this is for scanning the surveys. That was $8,000, $8.5 grand, just to scan them in. They only got 20,000 back. Paid about $8,000 to do that. Just scan them. Here's another bill.
They got 20,000 back, and they mailed out about 1 million, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
they mail them out.
That's a really good rate return on our money.
Yeah. Right.
It's terrible. Here's another one. Another newsletter we did, $326,000. Here's another one we did, $268,000. Here's another one we did, $333,000. Here's another one we did, $291,746.82. Here's another one, $650,000, $650,620.46. Okay. And again, this is just on the Republican side. The Democrats have their own company that they use. This is just the Republicans.
Yeah.
Here's another scanning of them. That one we only got 14,297 surveys came back for $7,505 to scan those in. So at the end of the day, we're in the millions territory that we spend with this company. Isn't it convenient then that they have a deal with the Republican Party and they do all those mailers, and for some reason they are dirt cheap?
It's almost
like, just hypothetical here, I'm not making any legal accusations. It's almost like they use taxpayer dollars to pay this company out the ass on all the regular mailers throughout the year. And then when election time comes, they own this company basically. And this company gives them crazy good deals on the political mailers. So they're using, in theory, just a thought, just a theory, just hypothesizing, not accusing. It seems like they're using taxpayer dollars to subsidize their campaign mailers, using taxpayer dollars to help affordably campaign for their chosen candidates.
No.
Folks, let me ask you a question. Is this making sense? Like, are we really far in the weeds on this, or like, are you getting what we're saying? Like, do you get like the? I'm not trying to. You guys are very intelligent. I never, ever try to talk to you like you're stupid ever, and I'm not trying to do that now. Just sometimes this crap can get a little thick, and so I'm just wanting to make sure. Like, is this making sense? Are you getting what we're saying here? Like, I want to make sure that we're not like boring you people, and you guys should be like cussing and screaming and yelling and hollering.
I think Janet's pretty
Janet
close.
said that's infuriating.
I agree with you, Janet, 100%.
It is. It's sick. It's absolutely sickening.
And not only that, but they are actively refusing business against anyone who would be running against them.
Yeah. Think. I mean, that besides all of the great crap they get out of it, also think about how damaging that is. That this company, besides giving them this great deal, knowing that they're going to get taken care of on the back end from the tax dollars, they're also saying, "Yeah, we'll tell everybody to go screw off." You know, absolutely. It's.
I know why Brandon started the show with alcohol in his hands.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is gross. And they're just like, okay. And then the worst part about it is they're doing literally everything they can do to try and stop anybody from ever finding this out.
Yeah. So another point I want to make real quick, because Kate made me think of it before I forget it. She said, and they're refusing to do business with anyone else. I asked specifically in my request for any contracts that we would have with Midwest Communications Group. So there's no contracts with them. We just submit them. We just submit to them, hey, we want this done, and they do it. There's no contract that says they can't help. There's no contract on paper or on record, apparently, that says that they can't do business with someone who's challenging an incumbent. So is there some spoken agreement that they're saying, hey, something behind the curtain, something shady that we're not hearing, where they're saying, hey, you work only for us, you give us a good deal, and you scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours?
I thought it was, if you scratch my back, I'll let you scratch my front.
Yeah, maybe that's how it sounds to me. So this is all theoretical. I'm not making any claims.
Yeah, right.
I do want to submit this company to the Better Business Bureau for the refusal to do business with people. I would like to see if they can somehow produce any evidence that they have a contract that they can't do business with people.
Yeah.
I would like to submit them to the Attorney General's office, but the Attorney General is a Republican Party stooge, so he's not going to do anything about it. But I would like to submit it to any news station that cares to hear about this, though I doubt they do. But to your point, Greg LeMaster, are we upset? I'm a little upset.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset. So I think it's ridiculous. I think you're starting to scratch the surface on it too.
Yeah.
But it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
So
it is. Well, Steve asked, what can you do? Okay. And that's where the thing is, that's the question that everybody asks right before when they say, but what can you do? We can't do anything about this. Look, they're going to do what they're going to do. It's the same old thing. We can't beat them. The thing is, we have to vote these people out. But in order to be able to vote them out, we have to have people filed to run against these people. We have to have candidates. And what I mean by that is this. We're coming to the end of this primary. This primary is all over. I want Greg to win. We're going to have Greg on. Hopefully something can pull out. Do I think that Greg can do it? I think that JD's just going to have him bowled over, honestly. I think JD's going to bull right over him, and JD will be reelected as a state representative, dickhead from Union City, and that'll be what it'll be. It just is. He is who he is, and that's what it's going to be. He's getting all this money from the House Republicans, and it is what it is. But so we need to stop. We're too short-sighted. Next year is an off year. There's no elections. We need to start talking right now. About what we're going to do in 2022. 2022 is the midterm election, okay? The state representatives are up every 2 years.
Are we time traveling?
All right. What do you mean?
What we're going to do in 2022?
What year is it now?
It's 2024 last
24. 25. 26. Sorry, I was thinking about the last one.
Yeah.
It'll be 26. Sorry. So in 2025 is an off year. We don't vote for president. We don't vote for Congress. We don't vote for governors. We don't vote for city or county. It's off. We get a rest next year. But then in 26, we will be voting for these people again. But we don't want to wait until November and December of 2025 when I'm on here saying, hey, filing is next month. We got to wake up. If you wait till then, you're already done. We got to start talking now about the people who's going to run in District 93 and the people who's going to run in District 17 and who's going to run all of these areas. It's just like the precinct committee people, but you've got to start now. We've got to start putting teamworks together. You got to start networking and talking. That way, when we get ready to run, starting next year, you could put an exploratory committee out. And then when you go to file on the first day of filing period next year, or in 2026, and you drop this is my platform, boom, bang, pow, here I am, you can hit the ground running and bulldoze over them. And that's what it's going to take. We can't do it. Oh, someone's going to do it here and piecemeal it together, and someone's going to do it down there. It's got to be a network of people. That's what we need to network.
Yeah, and we need to spread information. So, and that's the thing. What we're just looking at is they try to bowl over candidates with these mailers and shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to compete when you're sending 12 mailers for a freaking penny a piece. Challengers have a hard time affording that. So you need to talk to people about it. So, for instance, I was talking to a couple people from Henry County recently, and I started talking to them about Sproles, and they went, really? He's doing what? They came back to me later, and they said, dude, you're right. I started talking to people in town. That dude's a freaking nut job. He's like, he's costing us money. We need to get him out. I said, yep, you're right. Then another guy said, hey, I was talking to so-and-so. He said that you told him that this and that. I didn't know Sproles was such a lunatic. I'm going to vote against him. I told everyone in my family to vote against him. He's got to go. I said, well, I agree with you. So you got to talk to people too. It's difficult for those candidates. Like Chris was saying, we got to run. We need to support the right candidates. And there's a lot of ways to support them. And one way is just to talk about stuff.
Yeah. You have to talk. And that's the thing. And keep in mind what Brandon's saying there is Brandon is not a citizen is still not a citizen of Henry County.
No.
He was talking to men and or women that were citizens of Henry County who lived there. They go there. They live there. They eat
The
food
families
there.
live
They move
there.
around there. Their families live there. And they're just going along with get along, think everything's hunky-dory. They talk to somebody who just happens to be tuned into things. And Brandon's like, no, this is a shit show. And they were like, what? Everything's great. Then they go back and they find out, holy crap, what Brandon's saying is right. And that's the case. And I'm going to show you a perfect example of that. I'm going to show you a perfect example of that right here. Here is the Henry County Sheriff's Office Facebook page.
You're not
and
blocked?
This is what not on this one, amazingly. This one says Henry County Sheriff's Office yesterday at 19:24. That's 7:24. Congratulations are in order. Deputies Mark Teeter, far left, Jack Phillips, second from the left, have officially graduated from Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. We're excited to have them back in Henry County patrolling our roads and keeping our community safe. They have successfully completed 16 weeks and approximately 600 hours of intensive law enforcement training at the ILEA. Both deputies had already successfully completed the 40-hour pre-basic course and our 560-hour field training class prior to entering the Tier 1 pre-basic Indiana Law Enforcement Academy Class 232. Deputies Teeter and Phillips each now have over 1,200 hours of intensive law enforcement training as they begin to serve this wonderful, the wonderful trash citizens of Henry County. I am very proud to announce Deputy Mark Teeter graduated with academic honors. And hey, fantastic. Gentlemen, congratulations on a job well done. Welcome back to Henry County. Okay, that's a great post. These guys, good job. You're in law enforcement now. Wonderful. Everything's great. Everything's hunky-dory. Look here. These are 42 people that are posting down below. Okay. Welcome home. Congratulations. These people are just, they're like, hey, congratulations. Good job. Good job.
Where do they
Everything's
shoot
great.
their beanbag guns?
Yeah, right. Not until they get home and they get a helmet and beanbag guns.
Okay.
All right. These people are just posting what you would post. where are any of these people saying, hey, wait a minute, Sheriff, have you made a statement yet about the fact that one of our Academy certified officers, deputies, drove his car into a city 35 miles to the north and killed an individual a day ago? No, nobody's saying that because Boss Hog of Liberty here doesn't want to be a little mean or ask a tough question. You know, nobody's on here asking these questions or whatever. We are, and the people of our friends, but they just go there and they block and they delete them and they shut them off. Where are the citizens asking this? It's cool to say these nice little things and be cool, but we've got a serious problem in Henry County. We have a sheriff right here in the middle who's completely out of control, but nobody's doing the word of mouth, citizens mouth to ear, letting people know. People need to start getting more involved. This is why people say you get what you deserve when you're dealing with the elections. If we don't start standing up, folks, this is what we get. And it's very scary.
It reminds me of, it was a similar thought I had with the whole James King thing, right? Like when things go well, these guys want to chat it up, tell you how great it is. When things aren't going well, like James King, they just had this whole issue with these mailers that are potentially, they're very, we'll call them unethical, potentially corrupt, right? No comment, nothing to say about it. When things aren't going well, a real leader should be like, you know what? I don't know how these mailers were approved, or maybe I do. Maybe I approve these mailers, but in hindsight, that was a bad move, and I'm going to become a better person and a better commissioner and make sure that this doesn't happen. Or, hey, I didn't have anything to do with this, but I'm going to address it and make sure that doesn't happen. I agree that we shouldn't be having taxpayer-funded mailers like this. This is unethical. Sproul should go on there and say, you know, things go well, but things go poorly. And when things go poorly, the buck stops with me. It's kind of like the, was it the Dwight Eisenhower quote earlier? Where it's like it's like a good leader should be accepting responsibility for the bad things and saying, you know what, we screwed up, but there we go. Leadership consists of nothing but taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong and giving your subordinates credit for everything that goes well. So he's willing to give his subordinates credit for things that are going well, but he's not taking responsibility for anything that goes wrong, right?
And honestly, he doesn't even really give his subordinates credit. He takes all the credit and takes none of the blame. It's the best position to be in. I would love to be in that position. I would love to eat all of the cake and not have to deal with any of the shit that comes with it. That would be fantastic. Cake.
Agreed. So yeah, maybe talking about it seems like it might be uncomfortable or something, but I just cost good old Sproul's at least a dozen votes there. We're just talking to people.
Yeah, and listen, that's the way it has to be. Because listen, there are a dozen votes. There's a city vote in Muncie, just 7 months ago that was lost by a dozen votes. A dozen votes made the difference. So what happens if in 2026, if those dozen votes are the make or break it for Sproul's? That stuff matters. When I get on here and I tell you guys, hey, I see you're posting your memes and all of the cute cat videos and all of the conspiracy theories, and I see everybody posting about Trump or Biden. Cut one of those posts out a day and post something about local politics. There's things that people can do. They're like, well, what can we do? There's lots of things we can do. You've got to be willing to do it. You've got to get out of your zone. If you're not the candidate, if you're not going to run, that's fine. Help the person that is. Help find the person that is. Help make the phone call. Help spread the word. You got to do what you got to do. You're not going to make a podcast and go out and go to every meeting. That's fine. Do the thing that you can do.
Well, I had one conversation and probably changed a dozen votes. There's, roughly 40-ish people watching right now. It moves a little bit, but take 40 times a dozen, you're getting close to 500 votes.
Yeah.
That could completely swing. If it's 50 votes, we're going to go for Sproles to go to his opponent. That's 1,000 vote swing when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if everybody in here had a conversation with someone in Henry County and switched those votes, he'd easily lose.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and it's the same thing.
And on a Sproles night, how many people do we have watching?
Oh yeah, more 100. You know, because they're the people in Henry County eat that shit up.
We're closer to 1,000 people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if every one of them would go out and talk to, you know, we have 100 people and we've got, you know, each of them talk to 10.
Everybody's got 10 people.
Yeah.
That you talk to in some form or another.
Yeah.
We're closer to 1,000 votes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very true.
That'll break it.
Yep.
But that's just talking about the things once people are in there and getting them out of office or talking about this. We have a real problem in Indiana and in this group of people that we run with or that's around or just in this loose circle of people who say, yeah, I want to do something. I'm going to do something. We want to do something. We need to do something. And someone's like, okay, well, it's January 27th. I'm going to go and I'm going to file to run for office. And this person has never talked to anybody about it. They haven't made any kind of even loose committee. They don't know anything about where you buy signs or how much it is. They don't know if they can afford it. They don't know. They've not talked about what it takes to get the information to walk. They don't know about, you know, how much all of the parades and the breakfast, you know, you got to sit down. There's a lot that goes into it. That's why I say, you know, you got to start talking now for the this election time is basically over. We just going to go vote now and what the chips are going to fall where they fall. But if we're going to make change, we have to start looking down the road. So in 2026, if we're going to make some change in 2026, that's only 2 years from now. 2 years goes quick. We need to start talking because people need to understand that in order to run a successful race, you or someone very close to you needs to be able to attend all of the Lions Club breakfasts around the county every Saturday morning. You need to be able to go to the there was a some kind of a event in Muncie tonight, like a community event, a Chamber of Commerce event. You need to be able to go to Motivate Our Minds in the morning. You need to be able to go to the City of Muncie's thing. You need to be able to hobnob with the council members and the folks there. You need to be able to go to those things. You have to be able to run a successful campaign. It's not worth a damn to file just to lose. There's no reason to sign up to lose. That's stupid. You might as well not sign up. Because what happens is we get people who do that. We get and I'm not trying to be a dick here. I'm just being real. We get people who love the message, like our message, and they're like, I want to do something, but they're doing the wrong thing. They're like, all right, I'm going to go run. And then they go file. They don't do anything, but then they expect me because there's someone that watches the show, someone likes, they're like, well, you're going to support me, right? Well, yeah, I want to, I'd like to, but you know, are you going to support yourself or what are you going to do? And then they don't do anything. And then they want me to say, hey, yeah, go, you know, Joe Blow. And then Joe Blow doesn't do anything. They lose. And then our enemies get to say, look, there's Bilbrey supporting another loser candidate. We have to be able to run a forward momentum campaign. And that's, you got to be realistic. If you aren't the person that can do that, maybe you can be on that committee. Maybe you can make phone calls for that person. Maybe you can walk for that person. Maybe you can put out signs for that person. You got to be able to do what you can do.
Yeah. And candidates need a lot of help. I mean, it's so time consuming. Like you said, even just going to all the Lions breakfast is just part of it. And you got Lincoln Day dinners and you got meet the candidate nights and you got walking neighborhoods. I mean, it's a full-time job just running, and most people are running have a full-time job. So
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anywhere you can help a candidate, when you do have a good candidate, if you can walk for them. I mean, even if you don't have money to give, money's important. If you can even give them $5,
it all adds up.
Yeah, it all adds up. But just getting the word out for them, putting out signs for them, walking doors for them. And if you can run yourself, I mean, like Christopher said, you need to be willing to ask for help and get people to help you, and be able to really inspire people with your message, so they want to help you.
Yeah, it takes a village to be able to run a campaign. And I'm talking to all of the candidates, right? A lot of candidates right now, and they're hitting the wall. They are tired. They are really ran down. A politician's biggest fear is someone that doesn't want to run but asks a lot of relevant questions. And that's very true. That's the thing. And you also need to realize that if you're someone that's going to run, I've heard people say, well, I want to run and I want to change this, but I'm a private person. Do not go file if you're a private person. If you value your Saturday morning sleeping in, if you don't want to put time in, if you're someone that's like, I don't, just, it's not for you. And that's okay. That's okay. People ask me all the time why I don't run. It's not for me. I'm not going to kiss the right amount of ass in the right way to do it. I don't have any intention of doing that. It's not for me.
Dude, one of my pet peeves, speaking of asking politicians relevant questions, I agree 100%. You should be asking politicians relevant questions. It annoys the shit out of me when people only ask the challenger relevant questions and don't ask the incumbent the same questions.
Yeah.
I saw that on Lemaster's page. Someone was asking all these questions like, okay, that's a fair question. Have you gone to JD Prescott's page and asked him that?
Yeah.
And they didn't answer me.
Are you asking both people the same question, or are you just focusing on this guy because you're this person's uncle or whatever? Okay. That's a crazy point. The other point is when people you got to slow your roll and you got to ask questions that matter to the office. Don't ask a city council person what we can do on bail reform. A city council person's not going to be dealing with abortion or bail reform. You're not going to ask, how can we get more sex offenders locked up? That's questions you need to be asking the mayor when they're talking about their crime policy, and the chief of police. That's something you need to be talking to sheriff's candidates. That's something that you need to be talking to judges and prosecutors about. City council, you need to know your audience with the elected officials or the candidates.
Yeah, a good question for city councilors would be, how are you going to handle public comment at council meetings?
Hey, speaking of that, real quick, I want to show you guys something that I saw last night, and I was so proud of this. This was really cool. I loved seeing this. I want to show you this real quick. And this is a big thing to me, because this is how we can start making differences. And it was so cool. Let me see where this is at. I know. Where the hell is it? Home. Live. Where? I know that I literally just, might be here on Facebook. Hold on here.
While you're doing that, before we get too far from the topic, I forgot our other thing we realized this week, which was when we were looking into the whole mailer situation. We were talking about how the HRCC House Republican Campaign Committee is doing all this deal with paying for all these mailers for really cheap, and looks to be theoretically They're doing some shady stuff. So we got kind of curious, who is the House Republican Campaign Committee? Because I've heard about them for years, and I was like, I don't know who runs that. So you looked it up, and the head of the House Republican Campaign Committee is good old Todd Huston himself. So the Speaker of the House, Republican Party themselves control where all this money goes to which candidates. So when you think about that, what that means is the House Republican Campaign Committee uses money to influence the election and basically pick the winners and losers of the primary, which oftentimes determines who is in the Indiana House. The Speaker of the House also has the power to determine what bills are and are not heard, meaning Todd Huston basically controls the law in Indiana, and his voters are probably the most powerful voters in the state, because if they get him out or they reelect him, either way, whatever they choose, if they reelect him, they're saying that Todd Huston basically gets to shape the law in the state of Indiana.
Absolutely.
And if they get him out, they have the ability to change things.
Yeah.
But that's insane to me. When we discovered that, we're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Todd Huston has too much power.
I think, did I share that?
I don't know.
Did I share that to you? How did I send that to you?
We were talking about it on the phone. I never saw it.
Okay, you never actually saw it. Maybe I didn't even. I would have thought that I would have taken.
And like Steuerwald is like the vice or something like that.
Who was?
Is it Steuerwald? Is that the name?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Yeah, I didn't take a picture of it. I'll have to look at it. I'll have to get it again. But yeah, that's 100%. That's 100% the truth. Basically, what happened is when I went down there and got a copy of who was Citizens for Transparency in Delaware County and found out that it was Bill Walters, I was like, wait a minute. Let me look at who the HRCC is, because that, that only makes sense to look at who that would be. And I will easily be able to, right here, HRCC. This is a legislative caucus. Search. Okay. Political action. Search. HRCC name begins with.
So yeah, we almost overlooked that, but that's something to tie into that. We're saying, well, what I'm seeing as Todd Huston, as head of the HRCC, is donating money to candidates that he wants to win, and they are then spending that money through a group that is contracted basically with the House Republican caucus at a cheap rate, is my understanding. Could be incorrect. That's my supposition.
No, I think it would be a good supposition. And the reason that I say that is because of the amount of money that was spent by the HRCC in 2022 to remove incumbents. If the money was strictly going to incumbents, okay, at least that makes sense, right? We're not picking and choosing. We're just supporting the people that are already in. However, they spent almost $2 million trying to get rid of 2 incumbents last time?
Mm-hmm. Because those incumbents were too conservative for them, because they were anti-abortion.
So I would say that your supposition is right on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got it popped up here. Let me.
So the bottom line is, you kiss the ring of the Speaker, Todd Huston, the head of the state Republican Party, or you're gone. So you are not allowed to represent your values or your constituents' values. You are to represent whatever he tells you to represent, or they'll spend money to get rid of you.
That's exactly right. And how does it's like they're doing everything. The only thing that we can do is vote and run people, because they've tied everything else up. There's nothing really else that we can do. You know, for the people who say it doesn't matter, it does. You have to be able to run the candidates, you know, that you have to be able to run candidates, and you're going to be able to, you're going to lose, and it's going to take time and time again. It's going to take, you know, it's going to be a minute. You're going to have to go through different people, but you will find a winning, correct solution, something to unlock the secret to be able to beat these people. These people are beatable, but it's going to take the citizens sticking together. There are more of us than they are of them. They've got more money, but we've got more people. If we would just get off of our asses and do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wear a lot of pink.
Yeah, it's insanity to me. It's very frustrating, but we gotta keep talking about it. We gotta keep doing our best.
Let me pull this.
If the behavior is illegal, we need to do something about it. But you've been talking about this week, corrupt doesn't necessarily mean illegal. It can just be corrupt.
That's true.
But definitely what I'm seeing feels really corrupt to me.
Right. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. I think this is it here. Nope, that's Brian Bosma.
It's trying to buy you some time to find it.
I am almost there.
Well, that's true, Catherine.
5-4. Okay.
We need to run all kinds of things. We need to talk about that. I see that Catherine, she's got a group, doesn't she? Like a Facebook group that talks about everything going on. That's pretty good.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And they've got they're tired of the party chairman in their area. So you know what they did? They stepped up to the plate and they found a bunch of people to run for precinct committee persons. And they've got like 80 some people running. They're not all going to win, but they're going right here. It is.
Hey, good night, Alva.
Good night, Alva. There we be. There it is, folks.
Greg Steuervold is the treasurer, right?
Let me blow it up here so we can see it. Here's Todd. Here's Todd.
Chairperson's Todd. Custodian of records.
Yep, right here. Treasurer. Yep.
I don't know who Marin Patterson is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
And then if you look at their donations, you can see basically who's controlling legislation in Indiana. That's what's really sad. Yeah, because the HRCC determines who the candidates are. And so whoever's donating the HRCC really controls legislation in the state of Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah, it really is. When you were talking about I don't know what were you? I said I wanted to show everybody something. Oh, this is an example of people actually getting out and talking and doing the thing. I want to show everybody this. This is just a real quick little clip. We're not going to watch the whole thing, and I want everybody to go watch this if you get a chance. And I know that some people here like Hendry, some people don't like Hendry. I don't like everything that he's ever done. I like some things that he does, but this is very interesting what he's done here. This is Hendry going to I don't even know where he's at. I don't know what it, to me, I was not able to find what area this is. I don't know what town this is. I don't know if it's his town. I don't know where he's at, but he's at a local town board meeting here. And here is the president of this council. And this guy was putting an ordinance through, and the ordinance is based on 1338. Okay.
Ugh.
They're already getting ready to be able to quiet people down and to enact their craziness. And I want everybody
bullshit.
Yeah. And I want everybody to listen to this just for a second.
Okay. Well, let me finish reading this and then we'll
and
I'll answer that because good. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Let me ask your question or address your question. It's
got that hair. It's glorious.
Yeah.
The way that I understand it is that it would be more consensus and not just one, like the president's the policeman. Now I'm the curator, and so I'm responsible for the temperament of the room, so to speak. In other words, if people are going to start getting up throwing chairs, I gotta make sure it doesn't get to that point.
What if they get up and start throwing words that you don't like?
Now, when I say, well, on here, like for example, vulgarity and profanity, and getting into things that are unbecoming like that, that's something that like if someone starts cussing or whatever, that's something that we are wanting to foster a culture. I'm not saying something's not going to slip at all. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is someone is like just very repeatedly just F this, F that, and blah, blah, blah. What we want to...
Who cares? You can say that for it. It's not legal.
Our comments or our deliberation is to get a solution. And so what we want to do is, what is the best way that we can present discussion, debate, argument, so that we're actually going to get some answers and resolution, and not, if that makes sense,
No, that doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you why, because another function of this is to redress our grievances to you. And you saw how I redressed my grievances. I did so very professionally. And yes, but if somebody else wants to come in and start slinging the F word at y'all because they're mad at you, I do not believe that it is correct for you to just say, well, he's being vulgar. Go ahead and throw him out. His comment isn't important to us. And that maybe your council, maybe this board will not enforce the rule in that arbitrary manner, but the foot in the door is important. And perhaps in 4 years, the next council will use this particular rule to quash people's First Amendment rights. And I would encourage every one of you, if you accept this, if you sign onto this, do it on the condition that speech provision of it gets wiped out, because that is a very dangerous thing. That's what was done in Nazi Germany, in the Soviet Union, in more blatant forms. And this is the government getting the foot in the door of violating the people's rights. I understand the intentions are good, but the end result is what we have to contemplate. And the end result of quashing people's First Amendment because they have offensive words in it is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I do understand that. And I actually, and this is the honest truth. I'm actually processing this as we're talking here. I can see, and it's bringing me to some other things that I have seen before.
I'm going to jump ahead here and let everyone. This is only a 10-minute video.
Let's keep it civil. We're all adults.
This lady's not for it at all.
Agreed.
She's like, I would be one of the ones that would be telling you nope. And he argues with her back and forth.
Oh, she's wanting to shut down free speech, you mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It is totally your right to express your opinion on that. I agree. Just having them thrown out by a police escort seems a little bit different than
physical. Like if there's needs of physical restraint, if someone's starting to punch or hurt somebody out there, that's like last resort mercy.
And if somebody stood up and just kept throwing words and you continuously said, stop it, and they didn't stop, then it might escalate to the point of, let's continue on with this. I'd like to have a conversation with you all privately. I'm sorry for everybody for that, but I'd like to have a conversation with you all privately, if you please.
There was a point in here where she says, well, you said, what if they're not throwing chairs, but they're throwing words? Oftentimes throwing chairs comes from throwing words, and people start yelling. She's like, that's what we want to stop. And he said, no, rightfully so. He said, there's already laws that stop that. If someone gets up and gets out of control, we don't need another law to try to prevent those things from happening. There's already laws that stop me from getting violent.
And that's why that law's dumb as shit. And we've been saying it's dumb as shit from the beginning.
Well, and here's another example of this, okay? So there was a gentleman down in Clarksville, Tennessee. You can actually look this up. There's a big news story. He was upset because of property line or zoning or something along those lines. It was preventing him from running his business the way that he needed to. He owned a barbershop down there. And he went to the city council, calm as calm could be, walked in the door, stood up, addressed his city council, told them his grievance, pulled out a gun, and blew off his own head.
Ooh.
Okay.
In the city council meeting. So this idea that bad words mean that I'm going to pick up a chair and throw it at you or do something violent, the two do not necessarily correlate.
Yeah.
One does not lead to the other. Someone could be completely calm and become violent.
Sure, absolutely.
So trying to equate the two or say one comes from the other is bullshit.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% correct. 100%.
And this whole discussion is interesting because it's funny. If you remember when JD was taking this in front of the Senate committee, they said something along the lines of someone had a question like, well, what happens if someone's rights are violated? And JD was like, I don't know. That's what the courts are for, I guess. It's like you're making a stupid ass law where you know people's rights are going to be violated and you just don't care. Like, yeah,
right.
I guess
just do not care. It's ridiculous.
I guess that's somebody else's problem.
Right. Kick the can down the road. Someone else can deal with it. Well, happily, I will tell you, and I don't. It's not like I'm going to try to ruin the video, but I will tell you that Henry was able to talk these people in to the point.
I've given you all my email.
Where I'm going to let you hear this.
Any other thoughts or questions or comments?
I don't know to you.
I'm going to, just for the sake of a lot of things to process through, and we can further, process through this, I'm going to go ahead and hold on to this for now. Okay.
He pulled it off the table. And they didn't vote on it. And I was like, damn, Henry. I sent him a message and I was like, good job, bro. That's amazing. That's the way it needs to be done. I love these First Amendment auditors doing their thing. It's not my cup of tea. I told you whatever it is, what it is. I'm not telling anybody they can't do it. But this is the way people are like, oh, you guys don't do anything. This is the way that you get shit done. You go in. I mean, listen, I don't have a problem showing my ass when you got to show your ass. But going in and being able to have a conversation with them and being knowledgeable and understanding what you're talking about and being able to go back and forth, you can change shit like this. And that's big. I applaud him for this. I'm very happy that he was able to do that. And now, who knows? Maybe they'll vote it in next time because he won't be there or something, and they're just playing a game. But they seem like at least all of them, other than that woman, that they're at least taking a little bit of, So that was cool.
You got to think when you go in combative too, not that you shouldn't be able to get upset or whatever, right? I'm not saying that. But sometimes when you come in combative and angry and cussing, it makes people resistant to your point, even if you're 100% right. Just because like this guy's a dick, I'm not even going to listen to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what happened to Josh a lot when he would go into Winchester Council, right? Like, I think a lot of the times he was right in what he was saying, but he came in so hot that like everybody would shut him down. Sometimes he would come in and be calmer, and like you'd get what's his name, Tom, and even a couple of the other ones like, oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the thing is sometimes and that's the thing that would really bother me is sometimes I could tell that he was just wanting to be amped up just for the sake of being amped up. And I'm like, no, dude, you're shooting yourself in the foot. This is like literally you're hurting yourself. Mm-hmm. And Karen, I kind of misspoke. When I say they pulled it off the table, what I meant was he decided not to consider it. I guess he like tabled it. So it's put on the table. They just didn't vote for it is what I mean. So yes, what happened there was a good thing. I guess I wasn't using the actual the wording of it. I guess technically he tabled it, but that's not what he said. He just said he was going to hold on to it. He wasn't going to put that ordinance forward for a vote. So that's what they did there. So that was very cool. I was very happy that they did that. And it was awesome. So
and anybody can do what Henry just did there.
Anybody can. Everybody can. Everybody watching this can. Absolutely. Yeah. Whether you live in Muncie or you live in Anderson or you live in Fort Wayne or you live in Louisiana, I mean, we all have the First Amendment. It's all the same. Laws from state to state might vary a little bit from here to there, what's going on, but it's all the same principle, basically, more or less. And that's the thing. But that's just kind of, we talked about Henry County a little bit and all of that and just showing you ways that you can be involved in what you can do, but kind of getting back onto the state thing. what Brandon has put forward tonight is very big. I hope that people understand the implication of it. I'm going to push it forward to Rob Kendall. I'm hoping that we can get Rob to pick up on it. I'm wanting more people to hear about it. I think that more people need to hear about this. And I don't know. This is something that should really make people pissed off. It's the fox guarding the hen house, to the extreme, and it's gross, and it should not be okay. I mean, maybe there should be laws in place that stops this. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the same company that's got a contract with the government should be doing campaign work for the same people. I think it should be separated.
Yeah, or maybe they can do both, but they just shouldn't. I mean, look, I'm not trying to say we got to force people to do stuff. If you don't want to help a candidate for one reason or another, I think you as a business should be able to do that. But when the business model is, no, we can't help, we are, whatever that says, we are precluded from, look, thank you for the email. We work for the Indiana House Caucus, and we are conflicted out of any work against incumbents in those races. Well, I want to know what the hell that means. Okay, so what happens if JD Prescott decides to retire and I decide to run for District 33 state representative, and Todd Huston doesn't like me, but there is no incumbent in that situation? Can I now get their help or no? Will they not help me if there is no incumbent? Todd doesn't like me. If I'm not a Todd approved candidate, but there is no incumbent, will you help me now or no? That's the part I think something is wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
Well, then here's another interesting question. What if JD runs? Has you as his opponent and you win? And then the next time that the election comes around, you're running for re-election. You say, guess what? You wouldn't help me last time. I don't want you printing my shit this time.
I don't want you helping me. Or, okay, so John Jacob is running for Senate right now. Say he doesn't win, and he decides to run against Julie McGuire for District 93 again. And so he's running, and that company's helping Julie, and they're not helping John, but John wins and she loses. All right. So then say in 2 years, she decides to run against him and he's the incumbent. Will they help her?
This would be an interesting question. Can you pull that back up, Brandon? The list?
That?
Oh, where I had, yes. Oh, where I had all the things they paid for?
All the things
mailers?
they paid for.
Let's see if I get the right one, because I had two of these. Yeah, I can't.
Who are you wanting to look at?
I would be interested to know.
Did they help John Jacob?
Well, these are just for this.
I get that. It's just for surveys and stuff. Did they pay for his stuff?
Well,
did they pay for surveys to go out for John Jacob? And then we need to get a hold, or Kurt Isley. And then we need to get a hold of both of those gentlemen for their campaigns to find out if they were able to use that company for printing.
Yes, there's John Jacob and Isley. So that's a good question. Were they able to use this company, or was that company doing business with their opponents? So if we look at their opponents, well, Isley's is a special condition, though, because he's going against Snow, who is also an incumbent. But I wonder which incumbent they picked to do work for.
Right.
And I'm guessing Snow. And Jacobs would be more interesting, though, because he was the incumbent and this other person was not. So we can look at John Jacobs' opponents' expenditures
expenditures.
I'm
and see if, and see if Midwest
Sorry,
Communications Group.
The brain sometimes runs a little slow, but
No, that's well,
I'll
that's
get there.
yeah, that's good. No, that's very good.
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's a question of, are they only working with incumbents, or are they working with whoever they're told to by the HRCC?
2022, and we're looking at 2022 pre-primary.
And I don't remember who it was ran against John Jacob as a
It's
female.
Julie McGuire. I got her pulled up.
Okay.
I got it pulled up right here. Give me 1 second. And what's the name of that company?
Midwest Communications Group, LLC.
This will be gross. Give me 1 second here. Midwest Communications.
Yeah, I've got it up on the screen right now. Well, I guess you've got something on your screen, so
Midwest
Communications Group.
Keep that up there. Okay.
I don't know who owns it. Well, I know that Kyle. Well, Christopher has that picture. Actually, hell, I'll just look up Midwest Communications Group. Hold on. They're in Franklin, Indiana. Kyle Casting, that was the one. David Lugers, Tara Wolf, and Sam Bean. I don't know who these people are, but their team provides years of experience in campaign management, direct mail, logistics, and design. And it's funny because they have these. I'll show this to people who are waiting. Kate will like this. Because she'll remember some of these. They have some of their sweet example mailers. You remember this one, the good old, Liberty's Teeth? That was one of their big ones. There's got some example ones on here. These poor kids that they're putting their pictures.
Midwest, it's on here.
Oh, so they did work against an incumbent.
Son of a bitch.
Holy shit, let's see it.
We need to redo the whole show.
Oh my gosh.
How much?
Almost 20 grand that she spent with them for palm cards, thank you cards, mailers, etc., t-shirts.
19,640. So what I'm going to do, if you don't care, Brandon,
I don't
or
care.
you tell me what you want to do.
You're welcome, boys.
Yeah. This is genius.
That's huge.
So
so they were lying.
They lied.
Or they're not. They no. Technically they didn't. Look here. Hold on. No, they technically didn't.
No, they said that it's a conflict.
This is
out of any work against incumbents.
That is true. That is true. But I think this first sentence, this first part of the sentence,
we work for the caucus.
We work for the Indiana House Caucus.
Yep.
Wow.
So look at these stones we're unturning, and the corruption and the campaign, the whole system.
Wow.
Corrupt
so
as
what
shit.
We need to do.
Those financials you can find on Indiana Campaign Finance for state races.
Yes.
Those are publicly available online.
Yeah.
It's because our team's so good, Catherine. That's how we did it.
Magic.
I'm going to show you this right here, folks.
That's the website you can go to, and you can look up anything you would like to on any state level or higher races.
Yep. And
you can look up the federal ones on there too, like Pence and what's her butt.
Yeah.
So let's
basically
think about this.
You got either candidate or committee. So here's what we need to do, and we can do it however. Here's what we need to do. We need to now email.
Do we want to reveal all this on social media?
Yeah, maybe not. come back. There will be a part 2 to this eventually, but this is a big deal. So what and who is that caucus? That caucus they're the ones I just pulled up a moment ago. It's the House Republican
Campaign Committee, HRCC.
Campaign Committee, the HRCC. It is a political action committee that is made up of basically
political office holders.
Office holders.
The Speaker of the House.
It's the same thing, folks, as the deal with the Citizens for Transparency that Bill Walters has. He's James King's campaign manager, and he also has his job because of James King. And he has this political action committee that has a secret name on it, so no one knows it's him. And he donates to James King from that fund. And so this political action committee is able to go out and ask for money and have people give them money. Now, that would be interesting. I'd be interested to know in who donates to the HRCC.
So here's another question. They spent a lot of money against John Jacob.
Yeah.
She had only reported like $19,000 for T-shirts, mailers, thank you cards, all the shit from that company. They didn't charge her anything as a non-incumbent, but just being one of the selected few, she paid nothing for that. She had to have an insane number of mailers.
She got the same deal as JD. She ordered the same things as JD and T-shirts.
And thank you cards.
His bill was $14,000, and hers was $19,000. She got thank you cards, mailers, T-shirts, and palm cards.
So she
got the same deal.
So she paid about nothing.
Yeah.
For what she got.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
she got the incumbent package.
Yeah.
Yep. That's insane.
And look at these. Look at these people. Look at this. Look how Indiana House Republican Campaign Committee. Oh, here they gave her $225,000.
There's 40,000.
With this $225,000, that brought their grand total that they gave her to $490,000 in a 3-month window.
In between all of her mailers and everything, she spent $20,000 on those.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, House Republican Campaign Committee, House Republican Campaign Committee, House Republican Campaign Committee, House Republican Campaign Committee. They donated on 3/30, 3/18, 3/17. So on 3/17, they gave her a direct contribution of $15,000, and then 1 day later, they gave her $40,000.
And then 2 days later after that? Oh no, it's 12 days later.
Yeah, 12 days later, they gave her $225,000.
And you know what?
Wait, up here they gave her $200,000. So February 16th, she got $200,000.
A month later,
she got $15,000. A day later, she got $40,000. 12 days later, she got $225,000.
And you know what? They were probably sending out those surveys and they were saying, if the primary were held today, would you vote for Julie McGuire or John Jacob? And there people were saying John Jacob, and they said, give her $200,000 more.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And then they do another couple weeks later. Hey, if we're held today, and they go, we're still leaning towards John Jacob. They give her $200,000 more. And then finally those surveys started saying, oh, we're voting for Julie McGuire. We've been seeing so many ads for her. And they said, okay, good. We gave her enough money. That's exactly,
bro. We need to talk about this very soon.
That's what they're doing. That's exactly, because remember during JD's last campaign in the primary, they're doing those texts and those calls like weekly, I think. You remember that, right, Kate?
Yeah, yes.
Because you're probably getting them too, and they're like, if it were held today, and they always put JD's name first, even though alphabetically he should be second.
Yeah.
Because like, would you vote for JD Prescott or a stinky, evil, puppy-hating opponent?
Yeah.
It's like, you douchebags. And they keep asking until you said yes. And everybody who said yes got a text on election day. It said, hey, don't forget to go to the polls. Dude, it's dirty, dirty, dirty.
And so for everybody that's like, Al was just talking to me the other day about like how I kind of investigate things and what happens. And I'm like, this, like, you guys literally, we just found like shit like in real time. And that's wild. That's
So this company does not have any kind of
You can tell
contractual.
Christopher's upset. His hair went Einstein-y on
Getting
us.
higher.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you see, that's pretty wild. I like that.
So this company clearly has no contractual obligation to just do business with incumbents. They're just basically bowing down to the House leadership, basically the House leadership and the HRCC to make sure that their preferred candidates win.
Yeah.
Which is nothing new, but now we have evidence, financial evidence of how they're doing it. One of the ways they're doing it. They have to be filed online, Catherine. You can get whatever you want for finance reports. If it's filed online, you can get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
exactly, Stonefoot. That person has a lot of power over the state.
Oh,
they're more powerful than the governor.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Far more powerful. Far more powerful.
If Rich Wine isn't turning in financial reports, he should be getting huge fines. You get fined for that.
Well, let me tell you why he's not. Because you know who gives him the huge fines?
Secretary of State, isn't it?
No. I just found this out. The election board.
Oh, they're the ones who do the fines?
Yep. The election board gives him the huge fine. Would you consider this corruption that is not illegal? Yeah. I would say that this is, to me, like what Ryan Webb talked about, the mailer that got sent out from the Redevelopment Commission as soft corruption. This is kind of in line with that. It's like soft corruption, or maybe even like medium corruption. I don't know. I mean,
it's kind of a semi.
It's like a semi. I mean, is there anything that could be illegal here?
I'm not accusing anyone of any illegal behavior.
Yeah, there's no
we're just asking a question. I don't know if there's any laws against. It definitely, to me, at least sounds corrupt. I think that leveraging taxpayer dollars to cut yourself, if this is what they're doing, I think that leveraging taxpayer dollars to get you a deal on campaign expenditures, to me, is at least corrupt and unethical, if that's what we're happening. Now, is it illegal? I don't know. I think that Midwest Communications Group, I think what they are doing, in my opinion, personal opinion, seems unethical to me. It sounds like something that could, I don't know the law, be potentially less than legal, but I don't know that. And I'm not saying it is illegal. I'm saying that it sounds like to me that there's a possibility that maybe it possibly could be, but I don't know that. I'm not a legal expert and I'm not giving legal advice. Thank you, Kate. That's what we need. Oh, or Bilbrey. That's what we need. I'm not saying it's illegal, but it seems like to me that There could be something legal in there. I don't know.
Let's
Could
take
be.
a look at this. Let's take a look at this here.
Could be. Could not be.
So this is
So to me, it sounds like political discrimination.
sure.
To me, let's say you go to, I don't know. I guess companies are allowed to turn down businesses they want, but can you go to a company and they'd be like, "Oh, you're a Democrat. We won't do business with you." Are they allowed to do that? I guess they can.
I guess, yeah. I'm pretty sure that they can.
Well, I mean, they have, the baker who turned down business from the gay couple for their wedding cake. And that went to court, and they were found that that's okay for them to do. They can refuse business.
Sure. So I guess so. So I guess that they can, I guess they can refuse whoever they want. Now, is that ethical or something I agree with? No, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of people that don't agree with that whole baker thing and think they should make those cakes, but a lot of people disagree.
I'm trying to get.
Alva's back. You got a second wind. I mean, she got her second wind.
Where did Alva come from?
I don't know. She's waiting for that check from me still.
Yeah, right. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to get my draw from the HRCC this month.
Yeah, that's the bigger issue, Wanda. I guess it's less of that company saying. I guess if the company's saying we just don't want to do business with you, I guess they don't have to accept your business, right? If they're saying we won't do business with you because these guys are funneling us, if they were saying we're not doing it because someone's funneling us tax money, that to me is a whole nother issue.
Midwest direct mail program is tailored to fit the needs of your campaign, issue, or program. We provide issue-driven rapid response campaign materials, variable data printing, list management, and response data metrics to keep you moving forward. Since 2007, Midwest has worked in 32 states.
Didn't work for me.
Has worked in 32 states. So now what would be interesting is to find those other states to find out if they're doing the same horse shit in Illinois, in Ohio. What states are they working in? Are they only working? What would be funny is to find out that they're working in Illinois and it's Democrats that they're working for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to find out that it's not, it's truly not about some belief they have or some principle they're standing on, but it's just about the horror of it all. And it's their money, money, money. And that they're interesting. This
they back
could
the
be
horse in power that has the most access to the tax dollar.
Oh, their services says our services, Midwest Communications, building a tradition of winning political campaigns for the next generation of Republican leaders.
okay. So it does say that.
Based in America's heartland, Midwest is focused on telling powerful stories that elevate candidates, share a genuine message with real Americans, the direct mail, and their center is in Franklin, Indiana.
Yeah.
So they probably got started with the Indiana Republican Party, right?
Yeah.
And then started spreading out to other states.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like I know that in our state, they do not work with our Democrat Party. They had to go to a different company.
Yeah. I'd like to know if the Democrat shit with their company is like this, or if it's a little bit more all over the place.
Well, I have their records. Damn it, but I can't get to them right now. I'll have to look at theirs later. But I don't know. I'd have to look. We'd have to look and see if it's the same company. We have to look at their printings and everything. but I don't know that the Republicans have a similar process. We'll have to see.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. It's really sad to see who this guy's friends with on Facebook.
Which guy?
Kyle Casting.
Oh, from Midwest. Oh, he's friends with all the candidates, right?
He's friends with. Yeah, we share 36 friends together.
Oh shit.
Chris Spangle, Amy Schlichter, a lot of people.
Oh,
Dan
I wonder.
McDonald.
Friends with Amy. I wonder if he did any of the if he does any of the mailers for or did mailers for the why can't I think what they're called? Amy Schlichter's group.
Liberty Defense.
Well, that one or the Hoosiers for Life.
Oh. Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
I need to ask her. I'll have to get a hold of her.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Hoosiers for Life would be the really interesting one because they went hard against JD.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking.
Well, Liberty Defense went hard against the entire establishment, the Republican, basically any sitting Republican.
Yeah. I am looking. I'm just going to add all these people on Facebook. I'm looking for all of their people. Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to have to, we might have to rain check this one. I think we're going to have to do more research.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And do a to be continued. Because I don't know if anybody wants to listen to us do research, but.
No, yeah, right. Hey, I guess we can go ahead and, we've been on here for a long time. I just want to end with this one thing and just get your opinion on this weekend. And you got anything else you want to say?
No, except
you said everything you wanted to say. I just want to say this last thing here. Did you hear this story about? I mean, everyone knows what a big sports guy I am. I'm surprised we didn't do this earlier in the week because of what a big sports guy I am. And specifically on sports, it's women's sports is kind of like where it's at for me. Did you hear this story about
Caitlyn Clark?
This Caitlyn Clark deal?
No.
Do you know anything about it?
She plays the basketballs, and she is the best college basketballer. And then she got drafted by Indianapolis, right?
Uh-huh.
That's all I know. And their contract's not as good as Reggie Miller's.
But besides that, you didn't hear anything else?
No. Yeah, okay. And Stumblefoot's right.
What do you say? Hold on, I'm getting back to see it. Yeah, right.
You can tell I start slowing down, don't I, Stumblefoot?
Yeah, right. We're almost done here. I just want so basically what happened is when she got picked to be when she was picked to be on the whatever the deal was in Indianapolis, the whatever the Indianapolis team is called, she there was a reporter for the Indy Star that stood up to ask a question. I'm gonna play it for you here. It's only 39 seconds. Okay, here we are.
Oh.
Indianapolis Star sports columnist Greg Doyle tonight is now apologizing for comments.
No, I don't want to hear the apology. I want to hear what he said. Okay, here we go.
I do that at my family after every game, so. I do that at my family after every game, so.
Okay, well, let's start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So, Greg Doyle wrote what I said.
Okay, So
Do what to him?
Okay. So that's the thing. So in this interview, they're all firing off questions to her, and Greg Doyle stands up. Now, I don't know anything about Greg Doyle. I don't know if he's a weirdo or not a weirdo. He stands up and he does this to her. I want to ask you and Kate, if you know what this is.
Yeah, it's like the little heart thing.
Okay, so you knew what that was. Kate, did you know what that was? Okay.
Yeah, just show like the heart, like love or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my ex-wife used to do it to her son all the time. When he was real tired, he'd be going to bed, and he would be like, "Love you, mommy," and she would always do that to him. I was like, "What are you doing to him?" I used to make fun of her doing it. That's probably why we're not married anymore. So anyways, it's this hard thing. Like, girls do it. It's a thing. It's whatever. Okay, whatever. So during her games to her families, or after, whenever she does something special or whatever, apparently she turns around and does this. Okay. He stands up, and during his time to ask her a question, before he starts speaking, he looks at her and he goes, and she says, like, just a really weird deal. She says, "You like that?" And he says, "I like that you're here." She says, "Yeah, I do that at my family after every game." The reporter says, "Start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine."
Oh, that's creepy. Oh, you think there's no problem with it?
Well, no, hold on. So I like that you said that. So he did that, and she just like looked at him when he said that. Okay. She just like looked at him like, what the hell? Like, oh, yeah. Here. Okay, here it is. Here's what happened. Is it on? Oh no, it's not on there. Here it is. I found it. Okay. Tell me if the whole thing goes up. Is the whole thing up?
That's what he said. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Real quick, let me do this.
You like?
Okay, here we go.
Hi, Caitlyn. Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Real quick, let me do this.
You like that?
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so.
Okay, well, let's
cool.
start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So, question is
this weird?
It is weird. It is weird. But okay, after that, I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Maybe he's a creep. He's weird. He's a weird dude. Okay, like kind of a funky, like weird guy, like kind of a balding older man. So it is a little funky.
Yeah.
Like this is him. That's him with the big cheese here. Okay. They are talking like he RAPED this girl.
Yeah.
They are saying like they have completely Me Too'd him. They are dragging him. People want him to be fired. Dave Portnoy was on there talking about just what a complete loser, creep, weirdo this guy is. And he had to get on and make an apology. And his apology is, Doyle, Caitlyn Clark, I am so sorry. On Wednesday, I was a part of the problem. Listen to this. Here's his apology. I am devastated to realize I am part of the problem. I screwed up Wednesday during my first interaction with #1 overall draft pick, Caitlyn Clark of the Indiana Fever. What happened was the most me thing ever in one way. I sort of known locally Cy for having awkward conversations with people before asking brashly conversational questions. I've done this for years with Colts coaches Chuck Pagano, Frank Reich, and Shane whoever. I've done it with Purdue players, Carlson Edwards and Zach Eady. I did it with IU's Romeo Langford, talking to them as people, not athletes. Notice something about all those names. They're all men. On one hand, yes, absolutely, male and female athletes should be treated the same. I'm talking about coverage, respect, compensation, terminology, you name it. Stories have to be written about idiots who say or act otherwise. Stories have been written about idiots who say or act otherwise. And then along comes a story about another insensitive man, which goes viral on social media, and I decided to write about that idiot, me. What I've learned is that I need to be more aware of how I talk to people, not just athletes. I realized that only after my exchange with Clark went viral and I navigated the first 2 stages of grief during a discussion with people I care about the most. Denial. I didn't do anything wrong. I gave Caitlyn her signature heart-shaped hand gesture as a way of introducing myself and welcoming her to town. I did this during a nationally televised press conference. What kind of idiot acts creepy on national television? Me. Anger. This is how I talk to everyone. Had that been a male equivalent arriving to energize his team in town, since I've been here, the closest thing Indianapolis has had is Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson. I had shown him the heart gesture and reiterated, I like that you're here. This is where I was convinced I was harmless and right. When a woman is deeply respected told me, but Caitlyn Clark is a young woman and you don't talk to a young woman the same you do as a young man. And my heart dropped because now I saw it. After years of being so sure I was on the right side of these arguments, I am now on the wrong side. And for the oldest reason known to man and woman, ignorance. You can say that's absurd, that I should have known better, and I do. But here we are. I was just doing what I do, talking to another athlete, another person, and didn't see the line. I didn't even know there was a line in the vicinity until I crossed it. In my haste to be clever or familiar and welcoming, or so I thought, I offended Caitlyn and her family. After going through denial and anger, I'm on the wrong side of this me. I realize what I said and how I said it was wrong, 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 wrong. I mean it just wrong. Caitlyn Clark, I am sorry. This is insane.
Okay. Now that you read that, if he has done the exact same thing with the male athletes, it makes it less weird to me. It's still weird. I think the creepiest part of it was he's like, I like that you're here.
Yeah.
He said it in such a creepy way.
Yeah.
That was kind of creepy to me. If he's just like, no, I'm just really excited to have you like as part of the team or something like that. The way he said, like, I like that you're here was really creepy. Yeah. Otherwise, if he's treating male and female athletes the same and nobody had a problem with the male athletes, I don't know why they have a problem with the female athletes. I think he should treat them the same.
I just don't get like this. This has been a big thing that like they're talking about nationally. He should lose his job, and he's now got to make this big mea culpa and go on this big apology tour. And like, look, maybe the guy's a weirdo. Maybe he's a freak. Maybe he's a creep. He admitted himself he's awkward and does weird shit. Maybe he is a weirdo. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like he didn't make an overly sexual hand gesture. I don't know what that would have been. I mean, I don't think he was up there doing this or anything like that.
I was just saying, if you do that back to me, that'd be great. If you tell me you love me too, because I'm going to be publishing all these articles about you. I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of weird, but it's not overtly sexual.
Yeah, I don't think it should be career ending. I thought it was kind of weird. I just thought it was an awkward. It's like
the hand gesture doesn't bother me as much as the I like that you're here.
Yeah, he did that weird.
That was
he seemed more socially awkward than anything, but I don't know. It was definitely weird to me. I don't know. I've never been a female athlete before, but it was a weird interaction. I could see being weirded out. Like, put yourself in her shoes, even as a dude. If he's just like, I like that you're here.
Yeah, right.
I like it if you would heart at me. I'd be like, I'm not gonna heart at you, you weirdo.
Yeah. Well, and everyone's like, well, this is something deeply personal that she does with their family. What? Some hand gesture that the American Sign Language uses? I mean, that she didn't invent that. That's not something crazy between her and her family. She just picked up doing something that a lot of other people do. I just can't believe how crazy everybody has went with this. And
yeah, I don't think it's that crazy. I just think it was an awkward interaction. It was just like it's like that awkward kid in school who goes to talk to a girl or talk to anybody and just like tries to do a joke and it just fails and it's really awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's all it is. I don't know about canceling this dude and getting.
I don't think that this guy needs to be on a list or something.
And I don't know if Caitlyn's pushing for that. I have a feeling that she's not, but I don't know.
I don't think she is. Right. That's the thing.
If she's that upset, then maybe we should look at it. But if she's not that upset and everyone's just being outraged for her, that's another thing that's annoying to me is when people are outraged for someone who's not offended.
Yeah, that pisses me off more than anything. And that is what's driving this. Now, let me ask you this, and this is the last thing I got to say on it. Ever since this came out, now let me ask you which one's worse. Since all of this chaos and dramas came out, it has now came out that he also had another bizarre or kind of weird ordeal the same day, also concerning her, when he was talking to the coach of the women's team, and he said. He then said to the coach, "You've got that. What are you going to do with it now?" Referring to Caitlyn Clark. So, which do you think is weirder?
The hard thing seems more harmless just because it's like her signature thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, if she had never done that before and he just goes up and is like, hey,
that would be weird.
That's weird. The fact that's like, hey, here's your signature thing. Him saying, I'm glad you're here. He said it in a creepy way. I will say that. And then being like, I'd be cool if you do it for me. That was kind of weird to me. Then now you got that. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on context. I mean, like, if he'd say like, oh man, you guys just drafted Peyton Manning, like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, holy crap, he's gonna be great. Like, yeah. I don't know what he means. Like, I think he just might be awkward and
yeah.
I don't know enough. I just know what you just read to me. He might just be a weird, awkward dude.
That's what I think.
He may be a creep, but I'm leaning towards he's just a weird dude. And if he's just a weird dude, you don't destroy someone's life for being weird.
Yeah. Maybe have them write the articles and don't put them in the press conferences or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And if she is offended personally, I think he would probably want to apologize to her. I don't know why he owes anyone else an apology other than her.
Yes. Yeah.
And if she's not offended, then why is
they're literally calling him like a pervert for that. And I don't know what makes him a pervert for doing that weird thing. You could call him a creep if you want, but shit. Sorry, I thought I froze there for a second. I just don't know. I mean, I'm just very sensitive of that because you can really ruin people's lives by now labeling this guy a pervert because he's a weirdo, you know? And I don't know that makes him a pervert necessarily.
Yeah. We're definitely not defending perverts, by the way. And I'm not defending like any objectification of women or making women uncomfortable or making anybody uncomfortable for that matter. I'm just saying, I don't even know if I haven't heard her perspective. I don't know if she was uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't know. If she's upset, then I guess he should apologize to her. I think it's weird, the big public apologies when it's like, oh, you wronged this other person, so apologize in front of everybody. Everybody needs to apologize.
You need an apology to us all. Hey, Jackie, what was the, like, in a couple of words, up or down, what was the basis of what was Rob's thought? I didn't hear Rob's opinion of it. What was Rob's thought? Was it good or bad? She smiled like, you know, she's like, do you like it? I mean, do you like that? That's what I do with my family. She kind of smiled and then just went on. And no, the guy, this might also answer your question. It's one or the other way. He was born in Hawaii.
Oh.
So, you know, I'm glad he didn't say, well, I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this guy has a history of making women uncomfortable and stuff or being weird. Maybe he should.
I just think makes everybody uncomfortable.
Well, I don't know how he got as far as he did in a career like that then, but
yeah, right. Isn't that's kind of a weird thing too, you know? So I don't know. It's just everybody that's been blowing up and I'm like, dude, this is weird. I'll have to go back and listen to Rob's comments on it because I don't know that he needs to be tossed out of being a reporter or whatever, but I just think that, what did Danny say?
He said the political spotlight is full of weird dudes.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Kendall was very negative about Doyle. Okay, I'll have to go back and listen to it. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily defending Doyle. I'm just trying to understand the situation. To me, I'm saying he's at least weird. I don't know how far. I haven't thought about it enough. I just heard about the story 5 minutes ago, but
let's jail him.
But let's jail him. I don't want to destroy the guy's life with the information I have right now, I guess.
Screw his life. Let's cut his head off.
I guess I need some time to process and maybe some more information on it. But
where's our banner that says we're not serial killers and that's not advice?
Yeah. We're not serial killers. That's not advice.
All right, folks. Well, all right. Yeah, thank you, Brandon, for your take on that. I was just interested. I like Kate's take as well. Play the rest of his question. What was the rest of his question? I don't have the rest of his question. That's everywhere. They've cut it off everywhere. So I don't know. Maybe he had another question. I don't have the rest of it. I didn't have that. I don't have the rest of it.
I think just stick to the sports questions, dude. Just be like, hey, you excited to be on the team? How about that? I don't think he should necessarily lose his job. I don't know.
Off with his head.
I'd be more interested with her feelings on it, I guess. I don't really care. I don't know. Joe Blow.
And she's like, let's play some ball.
Yeah, let's play some basketballs.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Brandon. We got some research to do, and all of you people that's been here, thank you for hanging out with us. We've got some more information to bring to you soon. Hopefully I can get Kindle to bite on this because I think that this would be a big thing to talk about and spread around the state. So Kendall said the Indy Star is struggling in ratings and that Doyle's not helping the paper with his style of reporting. Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know anything about his style of reporting. I know his style of communicating with women seemed to be a little weird, but again, I don't know.
I mean, if that was my daughter and he's talking to her like that, I'd be like, no, dude, no. Like,
yeah, right.
Don't do that. I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, right.
No, I wouldn't necessarily want him in prison, but I'd be like, don't talk to my daughter like that again.
I'm sure she could probably beat that dude's ass too, though.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So, good. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking with us and sharing this news. Maybe we'll be able to blow the lid right off this, and this will be the magic key that will get all these a-holes thrown out if we're lucky. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do. If you have not hit that like, please do so. It's very important that you help us if you can. Oh, they're covered up here. Oh, look, I'll do it this way. Yeah. Oops, that's weird. No, I didn't want to do that. This, like this. Oh, yeah, all those there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much. We will see you. Tomorrow is Sunday. Holy crap. I'll be back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Well, we'll be here and we'll have some things to talk about, I'm sure. Maybe we're canceled because I brought up this Caitlyn Clark thing. I don't know. You guys have a great night. Have a great Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Have a good one. Good night. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Christopher, did you like how I said unethical?
I did. I like that room.
It's a big room. There's not a whole lot in here. I got like dresser, desk, and bookcases. Got a lizard in here.
What?
Set in the lizard.
There's a lizard in there?
Yeah, she's in here.
A real lizard?
Yeah, I told you. I seen a picture of her. She's always been in the room with. She's always been in the same room I'm screaming in. Actually.
How old is the lizard?
Say what? How old is she?
Yeah.
She is like 12 years old. Probably 12.